Welcome back to this episode of Smash Engineering. Today I'm going to show you how to start an edger, use an edger. This one is a pretty common type of edger. This may not be your exact model, but the functions on it will pretty much be the same, and it'll give you an idea of how to use this if you have one, or if you've been thinking about getting one, and how to edge your sidewalk and make it look nice. I've lived here for quite a few years, almost 15 I guess, and never edged this, and I've always wanted to, so I found this used. It didn't work, it wasn't running right. I fixed the carburetor on it and edged it all. So now I wanted to show someone, because the people I was talking to who watched me do it said, yeah, I wouldn't know the first thing, and I thought that would make a great video. So let's go ahead and get started.
Smash Engineering.
Alright, this is your blade. There's different types of blades, but this style is the one I've always seen. And you can get, like if it's worn out, you can replace these by taking off this nut. This is your belt here. This is what runs the blade. When the engine's running, it's turning a V pulley in here, which turns your V belt. So this blade is what engages into the ground and you want it to make almost like a groove alongside of your concrete. You want to hit your concrete as least amount as possible, but it's not always perfect. There's a guide here that you run across the concrete. So if you hear it grinding, turn it a little bit and get it to stop hitting. So moving on, I didn't use this feature, but a lot of them have an angle, blade angle adjuster. And you can go all the way to 45 degrees. Why you would do that, I'm not quite sure. I guess maybe if you wanted to undercut it, or you can even do the opposite. If you wanted to cut like down into the thing or up underneath something. I don't know exactly why you would use that, but that's what that's for. I kept it at 0. And then moving up here, this is your engagement, at least for this one. As you push down on this, it tightens up your belt, which then turns over with the motor. So it's really hard to turn that because it's engaged and the belt is tight. It's also your depth controller on this one, is that. The other thing that controls your depth is right here, this front wheel. If you pull out, this is kind of like a lawnmower, almost like Zach's setup actually. You can adjust just how far you're cutting in with this blade. So if you don't want to hit something, or if there's something down there, you can measure it out and you know how deep you're going to cut by adjusting that. So that's your wheel adjustment. Moving on to the engine, of course, this is your spark plug, fuel tank. This is where you put gas. It says gasoline on it. Most of them will, but this is where you put your gas. This in particular one takes straight gas, not a 2-cycle mixture. If you have one that takes 2-cycle, make sure you mix oil in there with it. A good way to tell if it's a 2-cycle, if it has a separate oil port, it's generally not I'm not going to say every time, but it's generally not a 2-cycle. So this is where your oil goes. You want to make sure your oil's full. And then moving on over here, this is your pull start. This is how you'll start it. And then somewhere on them, usually they have a excuse me. Usually they have a throttle of some type, and this is also acts as the kill switch on this one. So all the way up away from your wire kill switch here would be your high. Don't pay attention to the sticker. Somebody in Taiwan or whatever put that sticker on backwards. It literally says stop where it's high throttle on this one. You can tell because the sticker is even upside down if you look at it. So it's the reverse of that. I don't know why, but it's kind of adds some character to the mower, or to the trimmer, edger trimmer. Moving on to the back here, this is your air filter here. So this is your carburetor behind it. So this is that. On the side of the carburetor, you'll see there's a primer, and it usually tells you how many times to prime it before you start it. So this one is a 5-time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Before I do, let me point out, this here is your exhaust. Usually the exhaust has some holes in it. That's a good way to tell. These get super hot, so do not touch that after it's been running, but we're gonna see if this one will start. All right, so the biggest thing to pay attention to here is keeping that edger guide piece up against your concrete, making sure that you're not wandering too far out into your yard. Another thing to think about here is now you shouldn't have any wiring or anything, pipes or anything this close to the surface, at least where I live. But you might want to check and make sure that there's nothing, cables or anything that you're going to run across. Again, do this at your own risk. These machines can be dangerous. Obviously, you have a spinning blade there, so just make sure that you're being safe and you have a handle on what you're doing here. You can see right here I'm checking my depth. I'm pulling away. Now this hasn't been edged in, like I said, 15 years or so. So this is very overgrown. It's very thick where it's overgrown. If you can see, the bottom of the edger keeps catching on the thickness, the clumps of grass that have overgrown on the sidewalk. So this has been need to be done for a while. Yours probably isn't this bad if you've had it done recently. But if it is this bad, I'm showing you that it can be done. It's not impossible. You just got to put a little effort into it. And like I said, this is my first time edging. I did have somebody who ran a company that did yard maintenance. He kind of showed me the runaround. I asked him if he wanted to be in the video. He said no. He said, do your thing. He watches the channel, and so he was really eager to help me out. But again, he didn't want to be on video. So, but yeah, so this is kind of how he showed me to do it. And I want along. If you're unsure whether you're, too far away from your sidewalk, go pull the stuff out of the way like I'm doing, and take a good look. But you can see how thick that chunk is that I grabbed there, and how much overgrown it had been onto the sidewalk there. If you notice, when I lower the blade, that's when I lower the handle there, that's when the blade kicks on. When the blade is up, the blade should be disengaged and should be off. But like I said, always be, err on the side of caution, be safe. If you're scared to use it or whatever, do the stuff at your own risk, because that blade will mess you up if it doesn't, stop and you get your hand in the way. But yeah, I had some really, really thick overgrowth, and it this really needed to have been done a lot sooner. But now I have an edger. I can keep up on it every couple of years or whatever you're supposed to, whenever you see it growing over the sidewalk. But probably the hardest part is keeping your line straight, at least for my sidewalk here. The edger kept wanting to walk out away from the sidewalk and take a bigger chunk out of the yard. If yours isn't as overgrown as mine, you probably won't have to stop and keep pulling it away like I'm doing. My edger, the bottom of the edger kept hitting the grass and then pushing the edger up and away from the blade, up and out of the groove, so then it wasn't cutting the groove quite like I wanted it to. So that's why you see me stopping and readjusting it, and then fixing it, and then getting back at it. Obviously, I'm not going to record the entire process here. I just gave you, a short clip, a few minutes or so of the process and how I did it. Now, if you have any tips or tricks or anything that helps you do it, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I am never, ever, ever too smart to be taught something. At my age now, I know that I don't know everything. There's a certain part in a lot of people's life where they feel like they start to know everything, or they start to know a lot. And as you get a little older, you realize all that you don't know. So I'm always up for some tips and tricks and someone to teach me or show me how things are supposed to go. So like I said, leave something in the comment section if you know a tip or trick, or some way to make this turn out better. Then feel free, leave a comment. And if I see the comment and I like it, I'll pin it so that everyone else can see it as well. So I do appreciate the contributions, the comment, the engagement, everything with the channel. I really do appreciate you guys.
All right, well, that's going to sum up this video. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope this helps you. I'm no pro, but I knew enough to at least get it done, and I hope that it helps you get yours done, or helps you understand better how it works, or how to get your how to operate your edger, whatever you're looking for this video to give you. I hope it gave it to you, and I hope you have a great day. You're loved, and give us a like and a follow, and we'll see you on the next one.